and boy, there's a lot to talk about. After free agency has come and gone, the moves that Brian MacLellan has made, there is a buzz of excitement in these parts as a couple of new forwards, couple of new D. The draft picks are here. We're going to see a lot of them. I mean, you're ready to get the season started right now, the way things have gone.
John, if you're a Capitals fan, you have to be over the moon about what's transpired over the last 2 weeks or so. I mean, a third of this roster, and this is a roster that made the playoffs last year. Yeah, they kind of snuck in there on the last day, but Brian MacLellan, the general manager, didn't see that as, okay, we're headed in the right direction. He went out and improved this roster by leaps and bounds. Like you said, I mean, 2 top 6 forwards, 2 top 4 defensemen, a goaltender, 2 bottom 6 forwards. I mean, these guys are going to need name tags, when they get together for training camp. I mean, I know I'm excited.
You know, I'm thinking back to, it was 10 years ago to the day, which ages us considerably, and I don't particularly like that part, but it was Brian MacLellan's first free agency, July 1, 2014, and went out and got 2 defensemen.
Yeah.
One named Matt Niskanen, the other named Brooks Orpik, and those were the beginnings of a pretty good back end that ultimately would win a Stanley Cup 4 years later. Now, here 10 years later, you add Jacob Chychrun, who is in some senses maybe even a John Carlson heir apparent and a guy that's going to eat a whole lot of minutes. And then, of course, on the back end, Matt Roy, a guy who's a little bit more of that Orpik mold, where Brian MacLellan 10 years ago identified, look, we got to get better on the back end. And here they do it again, and hopefully it leads to the same result a couple of years from now.
You know, John, the thing that really jumps out to me is, with this team struggled all year to score. But where they really struggled was on the blue line. Now, look, the first job of a defenseman is to defend the net. But you also got to get some offense from those guys. And last year, it dropped off a cliff. The Capitals were second to last in goals. The only team that had fewer goals from its blue line was Chicago. And we know how Chicago's season went.
They weren't good.
You never want to be mentioned with Chicago.
Nope.
So, getting Jacob Chychrun is going to transform that. Like you said, Roy is not going to bring the offense. He's more of a two-way guy. That said, now you have a player in Chychrun who can run the second power play unit, who, depending on who he plays with, can really add some offense to that back end. I feel like ever since Dmitry Orlov was traded, this team never really replaced those goals from the back end. So I think now they have with Chychrun.